It's like I can't have anything happen to me like right now because I'm just getting started.
That bike repair shop owner is talking about a recent break-in. Coming up, we'll show you how the intruder got into the shop.
And still no deal between teachers and the Greater Albany School District. The latest on negotiations as some community members call on the school board to resign.
Also, a water spout spotted in southwest Washington prompts a tornado warning. Rod's going to talk more about the weather system behind all this a little later as our 6 o'clock hour of Sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Thursday here. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We are going to throw it over to Rod Hill right now. So, Rod, let's talk about our local weather today for starters.
Yeah, so the lightning threat that was just all over the coast yesterday, wow, tied into that water spout sighting that there were multiple that we'll talk about in about 8 minutes. But all of that's gone. The lightning threat has moved well north of our area. You see some strikes offshore, but again, that's tracking north. So we're pretty quiet. When I drove in from Vancouver, it was all dry on I-5 coming in this morning, and we haven't seen any rain in the last several hours. We're at 46 degrees. Some of you are in the 30s, so it's relatively cool outside. Winds are to about 10 miles per hour. This is a day with lots of dry time and a continuing scattered shower threat. 52 at noon, 51 at 5 o'clock. The next weather system will bring a steady rain late evening into the overnight hours. That will bring some increasing winds as well. We'll talk more about that coming up. Here's Chris.
Rod, we start off in West Lynn, and photojournalist Chad Dehart's manning the wheel here of Drive 80. He's heading south through the construction zone over the Abernathy Bridge. You can see he's about ready to come up on the Highway 43 exit. And traffic is rolling along at a speed limit clip there. Remember, the speed limit reduced because of that work zone. I-5 out of Clark County looking okay on that side of town. So far, our freeway drive is in pretty good shape. I did want to take you out on Highway 6 into Washington County. This is a photo that the Washington County Sheriff's Office tweeted out yesterday. You see that crack in the pavement? That is sunken grade, and what that is basically meaning that we're reduced to one lane and speeds are down to 35 miles an hour near the Wilson River Summit on Highway 6. We're working to get some more details on that repair from ODOT. I hope to keep you posted on that as we go through the morning, guys.
Thank you, Chris. There is no class again today for students in Albany, with the teacher strike now in its second week.
The district and the teachers union say they have reached an agreement on at least one area of their negotiations. So Ashley Grams is covering this story for us in the newsroom. Ashley, what's the latest with this negotiation?
Drew, China, good morning. Well, after a day of mediation, both sides sent out messages last night saying they have a tentative agreement when it comes to the health and safety article. The union says it includes things like reporting safety issues immediately, notifying teachers of student medical conditions, and creating an action plan for facilities with safety issues. Though there are still some big sticking points. One of those is teacher prep time. The district says they've made an offer to increase prep time at the high school level, although the two sides remain at odds for when to make the changes. There are also disputes over prep time for elementary school teachers.
They have a lot of faith in us bargaining team. We get a lot of messages of that we love you, we care for you, we have our backs. We're not backing, we're staying strong on everything that they are telling us to stay strong on.
That teacher you just heard from and the rest of the bargaining team will meet with the district and a mediator again this morning. Drew?
So it sounds like we may have some progress here, Ashley, but let's talk about frustration because we're still hearing frustration from both the union and community members.
Yeah, and that emotion seems to be directed at the school board. A community organized petition is demanding the school board resign, saying the board's inability to resolve the dispute between teachers and the district leaves them unfit for their roles. The union posted this video on Facebook yesterday.
We heard the Albany parents call for the school board resignation.
It's clear the community understands the urgency of this moment in our schools.
We need change now.
Those teachers go on to say they are signing the petition. Now, we did reach out to each of the 5 board members for their response yesterday, and we heard back from Roger Nyquist this morning. He referred to a comment he made to the Albany Democrat Herald, which said that teachers had reached out to him supporting his efforts and that a majority of the school board resigning would slow down the process of approving a contract. China.
Thank you, Ashley. Meanwhile, in Corbett, parents are responding to a multi-million-dollar budget hole that will force the district to fire some teachers. The district superintendent blames an accountant for the error, but many parents are skeptical. And coming up at 6:30, our Thomas Schultz has more from last night's board meeting. Newly released data from Portland State University shows the city's population is growing ever so slightly for the first time in a few years. Portland's 2024 population is estimated at just over 639,000. That's an increase of roughly 800 since last year. According to the preliminary count, this is the first year since COVID that Portland's population increased.
A Northeast Portland bike shop is dealing with a break-in last week that cost the shop both bikes and cash. So we're going to show you a surveillance video here that actually shows someone breaking into Something Cycles on Northeast 8th and Burnside. Again, this was late last week. The owner of the shop says this person had all the right tools to undo the security gate that's actually inside the shop.
Basically, this was still attached. It's bent up a little bit, but yeah, it was just kind of hinged open, and they, lay bikes down and get them through the gate.
The owner told us business is up and running again this week with some new security improvements in place, and he also set up a GoFundMe to help offset some of his losses.
All right, we want to turn back to weather. The bomb cyclone is gone, but it definitely left a mark on some parts of the West Coast.
So we're going to start down south along I-5 and then work our way back up to our area. So I-5 in Northern California is back open this morning after it was shut down because of the extreme weather. There is still a flood watch in effect for several Northern California counties, and at last check, about 16,000 people in that area are still without power.
Folks up in Washington also impacted by the cyclone with a massive windstorm there. At least 2 people are dead and 5 were hospitalized. Right now, more than 300,000 people in the Seattle area are still without power. Tuesday night storm toppled trees and power lightning, and lightning strike burned through the steeple of a church in Grays Harbor County, the same area that saw a water spout just off the coast yesterday afternoon.
All right, let's talk more about that water spout. It was spotted off the coast. Rod talked about this earlier. I believe he said Pacific County. It happened around 3 p.m. yesterday, and it even caused a tornado warning, forcing people who live in that area to shelter in place.
So, Rod, this was directly related to that bomb cyclone, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I'll show you on the satellite imagery why we are saying that. We have the photo of one spout. The reality is there were multiple water spout reports, different water spouts, that the Weather Service put out warnings for yesterday. Most of them, when I was looking, were in that 3 and 4 o'clock hour. Locally in Pacific County, it was just north of the Long Beach Peninsula inland. We had the tornado warning for the Weather Service feared one of those spouts would push inland. They have not put out any reports saying that actually happened. I've not seen any damage reports. Statistically, most water spouts don't cross the land and push inland. But with that said, all of a sudden, we have a history of that happening. Remember Rockaway Beach earlier this month? A water spout moved inland and in fact did some damage. Remember that story? Okay, all of this was tied to lightning clusters that went on for hours yesterday up and down the coast. This was radar yesterday at 11:46 in the morning. Now at that time, this cluster of lightning strikes around Tillamook had produced 25 strikes in a 30-minute period. And these clusters moved northward. Now, here's where I'll tie all this together into the so-called bomb cyclone, which is weakening and moving now north out of our region. Here it is right here, moving north and bidding back to the west. But it was the outer rain belts around this, much like a hurricane has outer rain belts, if you will, that picked up lightning and produced those water spouts. And that's still going on, but the lightning threat has now moved off of the central and northern Washington coast this morning. Now, in this big rotation and this upper level trough is a brand new system developing right here where you see the clump of clouds. That will bring us hours of steady rain overnight tonight into our area. Here it is on Futurecast, 7 o'clock this evening approaching, getting closer to the midnight hour. And then we've got hours midnight through about 4 in the morning where we expect steady rain from that. Could be a half of an inch of rain. And there will be winds picking up with that as well. During the day tomorrow, it'll be a breezy, heavy showers coming and going kind of day. Temperatures outside right now are 30s and 40s, 44 in downtown Portland, 39 degrees in Salem. During the day today, everything's pretty quiet. Lots of dry time, just a few scattered showers. That's a forecast really statewide on this Thursday. The weather system again moves in tonight. There is a high wind watch that's been put up by the Weather Service for the daytime hours of tomorrow. Looks to me like the wind threat for 50 to 60 mile per hour along the coast tomorrow is mostly morning into about the 1 o'clock hour. So we'll watch that. Once we get through tomorrow, we're pretty quiet. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, quiet days with just some showers around. Right now, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thanksgiving Day look to be dry. That's your update.